Oh, so we're live.
Currently, yes. Right now.
Okay. Riddle me this, everyone, and welcome to the penultimate place to get your movie, TV news and reviews. This is episode 49 of the Cross Media Show, and today's topic is, of course, if you're looking on screen, it can't be more clear than this. We're talking, of course, about the Batman. But before we get into our discussion, if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, feel free to give us a good rating on that platform. Helps the algorithms and helps us grow our audience. If you're watching on YouTube, consider dropping a like and a sub. And don't forget, hit that bell, get notifications for all our shows like The Penultimate Game Show, the Marvel Mondays Initiative, and Anime Nation. If you're watching on Twitch and you have Amazon Prime, then, folks, listen closely. That means you have Prime Gaming, which means you have one free sub to give out. And we'd love it if you gave it to us. But if not, that's quite all right. Just sit back, enjoy a little discourse here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christian, our host for today. I don't have an intro for myself, but I have one for you guys. I'm gonna start with. I can't look at the screen. He is the director of operations, the man who thinks that Curb Your Enthusiasm is not as good as Seinfeld.
That's not
Our
what I
very
said.
our very own George of the Penultimate Conquest.
Listen, those
Ben.
words did not come out of my mouth. You merely asked about Jerry's stand-up in Seinfeld, and I said it's a little too sophisticated for your taste, and that's okay.
Sure it is. Oh god, dude, that stand up is so bad.
No, it's okay.
It's like 25% good.
Listen,
25% like
you had to
very
be
bad.
there, Christian.
It's
You
so
had to
corny.
be there. You had to be there.
Were you?
Maybe I was. I mean, you do realize Jerry is a New Yorker, so I could have been there.
You got me there. Okay, I'll acquiesce there. And of course, rounding out the table for today, your friendly neighborhood co-host of all things Marvel and Destiny, the newest dad in town, the brooding man of Gotham himself, the Dark Knight, Eric Segan. I'm sorry.
Hey, what's up? I was trying to think of what to say. Nothing came out. Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Fantastic. I'm ready to talk Batman.
You're fantastic. From the looks of your face, it doesn't look like it.
Well, damn it, don't put me on the spot.
Okay.
If I were to try to steal something from a safe, would you come in and hold me softly?
No,
Loving.
I'll probably tase you in the neck.
Jesus.
Either way, I'd be down.
Okay.
Folks, let's take care of some housekeeping before we get into our topic of discussion today. What are we talking about here in housekeeping? Anything we should be on the lookout here for the channel?
Yes, Christian. I'm glad you asked. Friday, I will be on the Point in Progress podcast, so get excited
Ooh.
for that.
Nice.
Yeah. Listen, I think I've gotten to a place where I can actually stream now, and instead of me just saying that I can actually stream now, like I can actually do it. So, this week's Conquest, we're going to try to see if we can, I know I said this last week, but actually start the greatest game of the year, Triangle Strategy. And I can't wait. Christian. The look on your face says it all.
I'm glad you have something.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm just glad. I'm glad you have something.
I mean, Eric, how do you feel today?
Pretty vengeancey.
Oh, yeah?
I feel brooding like. I
uh,
listened to some My Chemical Romance to get in the mood.
Gotcha. Because
So I'm in the zone.
I don't know if you saw this, but Strangers of Paradise got a 76 on OpenCritic today. And I don't know how you feel about that.
Did any of us counterpick that game?
Yeah, Eric did.
Okay, you didn't lose that much points. That's
It's
a
6
good
points.
I mean, I wouldn't laugh, Ruben. You lost 20 points off of mine.
Yeah, but that's
so-
okay because I got a bunch of shit that's going to get me right back up there,
Do you, though?
Yeah, I do. I got another fucking Pokemon game. So I'll be there
All right.
at the end of the year. All right?
We got to stop with all these Pokemon games. Like enough.
It's okay.
We had
can
our
keep going.
fun.
We can keep going.
We grew up. We
Nah.
left them behind.
Nah, we'll never grow up.
Yeah, that's true.
You see
Remember those
Pokemon
Crunch Bar
Yellow
commercials?
Right there. First game I ever owned. And I still have it with me, Christian.
I gotta respect that. That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Never die.
That's it for housekeeping. Some news today before we get into the topic of the show. You guys want to talk about this? I'll let you guys say it here. A new trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie was released today. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Chef's kiss of a fucking trailer. This is gonna be the ultimate video game movie of all time. I guarantee it. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. How can you say that when Uncharted just really? I'm just kidding. I can't even finish.
Eric, do you have anything to say about Sonic 2?
Oh, I think Eric's muted.
I mean, just the fact we're getting Knuckles in this movie is
Idris Elba.
fantastic. So I mean, they're going crazy. They got Chaos Emeralds, which we knew were going to be in it, and you know, just Jim Carrey being it's wild because he rarely does sequels. So I'm excited to see what
Yeah.
he does with this. I'm really just uh towards the Sonic is so fun. So I'm ready to see more of that.
Can you believe that Idris said that? Like, no, my Knuckles voice is not sexy. It's like, come on, dude.
He just
No
talks.
matter what you do, it's sexy. Yeah, exactly. You can clear your throat and it's sexy. Okay. What is that movie? That movie is out soon, in less than a month.
April 8th, if I remember
April 8th,
correctly.
yeah. About 3 weeks away.
Yep.
I'll be in the theaters. By the way, um, in the local Portland theater for Sonic 1, spoilers for Sonic 1, by the way, in the end credit scene. Apparently, I wasn't able to go. I wanted to go for a rewatch, but I wasn't able to make it. My friend who did go said that everyone in the audience, much like the first showing, was like people my age, like not kids, and everyone was like stoned out of their mind. And when the credits started, everyone was like chanting "Tails, Tails," like waiting for the like reveal in the after credit scene, which is like entirely my crowd. That's amazing.
Interesting.
Okay. Okay. Sure then. Okay. Fuck my story. Moving on. Anything else before we move on? Any other news?
Topical. Apparently, Sam Raimi wants to do a Batman
Yes.
movie. I would
Would you be a?
watch the shit out of that.
Yeah. I don't know if I would.
First villain is Scarecrow. It has to be.
Like, have him do the Arkham Asylum from Grant Morrison storyline, and you can Sam Raimiify that. That's not a verb, but
It is
yeah,
We
now.
can make it one.
his attention to
now.
horror and detail, like especially with like an Arkham Asylum style setting, I think that's the only thing Sam Raimi can do like really well. It's just something set in Arkham Asylum, and that's it.
See, I get nervous once like one property is successful, like the Batman is, because now studio execs race to pump out content. Granted, this isn't that, and also Sam Raimi's great, but it's like all right, let's slow down a little bit. Let's get some vision first. Let's hear what what the
That's the
writing is
thing.
like, what stories you want to tell.
You gotta understand, this is DC. They're desperate, Christian.
Aren't they, though?
They're making a movie.
Desperate for what? Like
They're making a Black Adam movie with The Rock. They're desperate.
That's not desperate.
Christian, Eric. That's
He's been
desperate. Okay, that's
He's been
desperate.
wanting to do it
Okay.
for a long time.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, the problem with The Rock is he only plays one character himself.
And that could fit for Black Adam.
I don't see that fitting for any comic book character whatsoever. Unless it's literally The Rock.
I mean, you also have to look at all the other stuff they're doing that's really neat too. I mean, Aquaman.
I'm excited for the Flash.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Flash looks great.
Aquaman's probably gonna be a fun time. Like DC has realized that they don't need to do the connected stuff really that much.
Which is a shame.
Like just make the solo stuff, I mean, they've made great solo movies. I mean, Shazam was great. Wonder Woman, the first one was great. I mean, just go with what works, what doesn't. Don't do what don't work. Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, don't do what don't work.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we'll see. And we can talk about this more like when we're actually on topic of the show. Speaking of which, let's get into our discussion of The Batman, of course, directed by Matt Reeves, released in 2022. I don't have budget stuff for you or writing stuff, so hopefully that's enough for you. Yeah, I tried to pull it up as well, but I wasn't fast enough.
Oh, I don't know about
Yeah,
budget,
Reeves-
but box office. That's what I
Budget's
was gonna
about
look at.
200, I think.
Okay, while you guys find that, I will say that Matt Reeves is the writer, as well as Peter Craig, and I have to give a huge shout out to cinematographer Greg Fraser, who was absolutely in his freaking element in the Batman.
So I have here the Warner Brothers filmed earned 66 million from 4,417 North American theaters in its second weekend of release, propelling its domestic tally to a robust 238.5 million. After only 10 days on the big screen, The Batman ranks as the highest grossing movie of 2022, as well as the second highest grossing film since the onset of COVID 19. Oh, of course, only Spider-Man No Way Home, which has generated a stellar $792 million in North America, has earned more money at the domestic box office in the past 2 years. Of course, this comes from Variety. Thank you, Rebecca Rubin.
Yeah, I don't even think Spider-Man was even released in China
It
yet,
wasn't.
right?
Nope.
Yeah. Could
The
you imagine how
Batman
much money that would have
released
made?
Yeah.
week in China.
Yeah. Also, I am trying to find the article. I couldn't find it, but yeah, there was no signs of the Batman slowing down. Like it was still performing well, days
It had a
into like
it
that
had a
premiere.
really good second hold. I think the only one that had a better hold was Batman Begins at like 43% drop. This one had a better drop than Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises and all that. So
Wow,
the fact that a
incredible.
3 hour movie has the second best hold out of all the Batman movies is
Yeah,
standing.
and not only just like a 3 hour movie, but like a 3 hour like very serious,
Mm.
brooding movie. Yeah, great point, Eric. So suffice to say, the Batman doing well
Hmm.
critically
Absolutely.
and by audience reception. Yeah, fantastic. Before we get into like kind of deep dive conversations, we're gonna start with our initial thoughts here. Um, I'm gonna start with Eric because I was very excited for you. You had to wait a few days to actually watch it, but I want to know what your like top level thoughts were on the Batman.
Okay, top level thoughts. Let's see if I could put it into words with like the people that we do stuff with and what we talked about. I get why people are so obsessed with Dune. This is gonna be my Dune, is what this movie is. Like on a technical filmmaking level, I don't think any other comic book movie has come close. Like Dark Knight, maybe. Although there are still some things about Dark Knight I don't like. But on just from a camera work perspective, from lighting, from everything head to toe, is is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. Like no
Hmm.
movie is perfect, but for me, this is really damn close. And so I think I tweeted about this after I saw it. I hope this is like the template now going forward with films, not just like, 3 hours or stuff like that, but the attention to detail they have with everything from characters to script to production, everything. I hope that level of detail goes forward because this is hard to beat. Like
Yeah.
this is this is cinema.
God, you can't be more right. Ben, how about you? What are your general thoughts here on the Batman?
So I think there's going to be a lot of people that say that they don't like this movie because it's not Batman enough, which
L's to them, Ruben. L's.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. But I think when the general public thinks of a Batman movie, they think of the action and the grittiness that Batman brings. And this movie had it, but it also digs deep into what DC really is, Detective Comics. It was perfect in every single way I could imagine. I really loved the things that Matt Reeves did. Just, I would say, no, I have no issues with this movie. Only one, and it should have
Save
been.
that. Save that. Save
Okay,
that. Save that.
okay, okay.
Is it like spoilery stuff? Like actually like specific?
No, no spoilers at all. It's just me being me.
Okay, then what is it?
What if this movie had, instead of Robert Pattinson, Ben Affleck? Obviously, it would have been a completely
Anyway,
different movie First off, don't.
I will. My last thing before I will say, Matt Reeves is the best. And this is not to put it like in its own like a weird category. This isn't to demean it in any way, shape, or form. But I think Matt Reeves is the best blockbuster director out there right now.
Yeah,
Like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War of the
Oh,
Planet of the Apes, Batman.
perfect. Absolutely
Like
perfect.
he also
oh,
did
you like?
like
Yes.
Let Me
Thank you.
In. He did Cloverfield.
Oh, I didn't know
Like
he did Cloverfield.
the
Which one?
yeah, he did the first Cloverfield.
First one.
Okay.
Matt Reeves is so freaking good at his job,
Yeah.
and like it's insane. He's able to bring a very unique approach to these comic book films and to these, big IPs that I just want him to keep making movies because he's so good at
Yeah,
it.
because the thing for me about Matt Reeves, that like maybe aside from Cloverfield, but like more specifically the Apes trilogy, which he only did the
Last two.
2 and 3. Yeah,
Mm.
and the Batman is like he really centralizes his movies around character emotion and character development, and like letting that take precedent,
Mhm.
and how the story like affects like character emotion, and that's where these stories work. Leading into the Batman here, my thoughts. I agree with both you guys. Like the Batman is an amazing film, and partly why I think it's so good is because it really interrogates like the ethos of who Batman is as we know him, places him in like a dark part at the beginning, and we see like that kind of origin story of Batman turning from like this like flawed figure into kind of the more hopeful figure that we have been accustomed to across all kinds of medium, right? And seeing that progression over the case of the case over the span of 3 hours, right? Six days in the movie is like just phenomenal to watch. It's amazing filmmaking. It's great character like interrogation, and it's just good. It's just a great movie all around. I have small issues with it, but like other than that, like this movie made me forget about playing Elden Ring, and that's saying something because
Whoa.
Elden Ring also chef's kiss.
Wow.
Yep.
That's saying a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Before we get into our
Ryan's on his way, by the way.
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that.
I was
Once he
I
gets
was
in.
hoping he'd be in by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't want to start like deep dives into the actual Batman here. Oh, great timing! I was like, man, how am I gonna kill time?
He's here?
Lo and behold, he's here.
Popped in.
The host of Anime Nation and Stranger of Paradise fan for some reason.
Oh, god damn it. Hold on. Wait, give me a
I'm
sec.
of
Oh, his camera hasn't started yet, has it?
No, it's getting the little spinny wheels.
Okay, let's see. Oh,
What if he
pumpkin.
comes in wearing a mask over his face and
Could you
little
imagine
clear
if he just
glasses?
like is in the Batman costume?
Nope, that's not the costume I was going for.
Oh,
What is the price for your blind eye? By the way, I was a little bummed that I went to go see this in IMAX, but it was not filmed in IMAX, which I did not know. But like, big screen, still very cool.
of course. Oh no, he
There he goes.
Oh, oh,
no. Hello.
Okay. I think he's coming in now.
I hope
His
so.
camera's still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
how about Kojima being horny for Batman?
Say that
That's
one
the-
more time.
Dude, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, great way to kill time. Kojima today being horny for Batman.
I did not realize that at all. What happened? What did he
Yeah,
do?
he talked about Robert Pattinson's naked chest and back.
Oh god.
Dude, such a good tweet. I gotta go find it and read
I
it for
worry
you
about
guys.
Kojima sometimes, you know?
He's
Why?
fine.
Sometimes he's too pure for this world. You know? Am I wrong?
I mean, I wouldn't say Kojima is pure. Kojima is Kojima.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
we go.
Okay.
You can't define Kojima.
Oh, okay. Is that where we're going with?
Robert's own presence and acting ability are excellent, but the director has a good way of showing it. the scene in which he pushes a heavy object indoors with his upper body naked.
Oh god.
I love that he also calls Alfred Alfredo.
I mean, that's what you got to do, you know.
Here he gives the impression of flexible back muscles like a ballet dancer, not hard muscles from muscle training and protein soaking. Also, the breakfast scene with Alfredo. He looks dazzled and makes him wear sunglasses
I
even though
think
he is
that was
indoors.
just. I don't think he meant to say Alfredo.
Oh, no, of course not. It's like a mistranslation from Japan
Yeah.
to English. But still, goddamn, Kojima's amazing. Okay. Should we keep going?
Yeah. I have a feeling he'll pop in when he's ready.
In that case, before we get into the topic of the show, let me tell you a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Buzzsprout. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, which is why we've partnered up with Buzzsprout to help you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform, so join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. You'll get a great-looking podcast website, audio players that you can drop in other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, tools to promote your episodes, and much, much more. Following the link in our description below lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you, gets you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and help support our show. And now, back to the show. Thank you, Buzzsprout.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've done top level thoughts. We all agree that this is a good movie. I have a question kind of to spur off conversation, right? And I use this to springboard off our discussion that I used in Large Popcorn as well. The tone and aesthetic of this movie is obviously like way darker than we've seen in previous Batman movies. This is probably the darkest we've seen Batman period on the silver screen, right?
Yep.
It's the grittiest, but I'm not going to call it necessarily grounded because I don't think those two are similar. And so I'm going to just stick with me for another second here. Imagine a spectrum, if you will, of Batman movies. On one end, you have your fantastical elements, your your Adam West's kind of Batman, and the other you have your grounded. And here's where I'm really thinking the Dark Knight Nolan movie, like Gotham is Chicago kind of Batman, right? Where do you think this movie lies on the spectrum of between fantastical and grounded? Because I think it actually leans more towards the fantastical. To me, the Batman movie feels like not a real place. That looks and feels like Gotham. Like the events that are happening is very much like a comic book movie that I'm seeing, that like a story that I'm reading from a not real place. And that's one of the reasons why I think like the allure of the Batman is so good and why it's so cool.
Interesting. I would have to say fantastical. And what was the other one? Grounded?
Grounded.
Oh, are you writing? Okay.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
I like it.
You want to know why? Because Penguin, the fact that it brings in the silly stuff about Penguin, like the Icicle Lounge. The fact that the Icicle Lounge is a real thing and it's not made out of like actual icicles, it brings in a little fantastical with a little grounded. So that's why I would have to say it's in the middle for me. Like just the smallest things bring it to where I could believe some of it, and I'm like, okay, there's no way that that's happening in real life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
It sounds like Ryan.
Ryan's here?
Hello, I am here.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure I'm here.
Okay. I gotta
I
check
had
it.
I had it down for 9 because I had daylight savings all fucked up.
God damn it, Ryan.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Is Discord outputting through your mic? Through the not Blue Yeti?
It is. Yeah, let me give me a second.
There he goes again.
He's gone.
Just like the Batman when you think he's still next to you. Anyway, while Ryan gets situated, Eric, how about you? Where do you think this lies? I think Eric's muted.
Yes, he is.
I think this is definitely more comic booky than the Nolan trilogy, and I think that's what makes it better. Because it's difficult because I could go on to this. Like I feel as though when people grounded shouldn't be what we look for all the time to make a
Mhm.
movie better. Like I
Yes.
think that when people try to say, "Oh, it's so grounded," well, no. Like this is a man who dresses as a bat. We don't need to make this like grounded in any way, shape, or form. Like it just fits because you're right. This is Gotham.
Mm.
Like because when you watch the Nolan movies, I'm like, oh, that's Heinz Field, that's Pittsburgh Bridges. I know those places. Like those are real places. And with this one, I know they filmed in Chicago and London, but I can't tell. Like that, like this is an otherworldly place. And I feel as though when he was talking about making Gotham a character in its own right, I think he nailed that because it is dirty, it is
Yep.
grimy, it is corrupt, it is exactly the places that we know Gotham, exactly the adjectives we know Gotham to be.
Yeah.
And so I think that um, this isn't, uh, Adam West, Batman vs Superman, where that Batman was all over the place, like that was really on the crazy side. Whereas this one is definitely much more grounded. He's just driving a supercar, super muscled up car. So I mean, it's just I would basically I would agree with Ruben. Ruben's got the right.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like think about all the trash that's littered around Gotham alleys. Think about all the this movie is like constantly raining. It's constantly wet. You can only imagine what it smells like. Think about the neon aesthetics, that we think about with Gotham, and then think about like the twins even that are like bouncers at the Iceberg Lounge. Like not only how like almost absurd that is, but like also a little bit funny, and how it's like reminiscent of the cartoons even. The anime series that I grew up with. Ryan, you just joined, so let's hear your like kind of general thoughts here on the Batman.
All
Did you like
right.
it?
Yes, I think it's a fantastic fucking movie. I think it's the best work anyone has done with the Cape Crusaders since the Nolan films. Um, I think it does a lot of things actually better than the Nolan films in the way of what you guys were
Mm.
talking about. Gotham feels like a character. I like that. I like that this Gotham it has a statement piece to this story, and I think that's really interesting. Um, and also I just like the use of fear throughout this movie and different like emotional feeling weight, because that's something I really liked about this film is it didn't need to overly show us gore or anything to make you feel really unsettled by what the Riddler did. The Riddler was just unsettling. Now it can be able to, of course, the performance. The performance was amazing, but the the grounded with just a little bit more than what would happen in the normal world really made him a terrifying character. So I think that helped the movie a lot in my eyes. It's a good film.
Sure. Dude, I'm so happy you brought up performance here because this is a great segue. We can finally talk about, and Ruben kind of alluded to this earlier actually, so we can bring it in now. Of course, we got to talk about Robert Pattinson as Bruce slash Batman, which I'm gonna say, I'm gonna lay it right here on the table. I fucking adored. This is an incredible Batman. Probably like up there in like one of my favorite Batmans. You know what I mean? It's so good. What are your guys' thoughts on Robert Pattinson as Batman?
Ryan, go ahead.
All right. Great Bat, terrible Bruce Wayne.
But that's a good
That
thing though,
but
right?
that makes his bat better for where his bat is in the story. But I can see that being a criticism people have. Bruce Wayne, it never feels like he is not Batman because he hasn't developed that skill yet. Or this Batman may never. Or like, where? Oh, it's
Right.
time to interact with the public. I need to be this. I need to be just the rich guy of Gotham. All this kind of thing. Doesn't seem like
and
he
this
have a reach there. He is just brooding and wanting to punch people in the face. That is all Robert Pattinson's Batman's wanting to do.
and
And
this
I
is why I
get
go
that.
back. Yeah. And that's why I go back to my comment about like this is an origin story kind of Batman, right? Clearly inspired by year one. In the movie, it's year two Batman. But yeah, Ryan is right because he still hasn't learned how to be Bruce. That's one of the things why I found this movie so fascinating. But yeah, you're right. There are a lot of people who are complaining or criticizing this movie, saying like he's not a playboy, and it's like, well, it's not the point. He's not there yet as Bruce. But
No,
not to
no.
say those
This is
criticisms
someone
aren't
who
valid if
is.
that's not what you're into.
This is someone who was a just got done learning all the karate, traveling around the world, doing all that, and is now ready to use that skill he's learned now as a crime fighter for what?
Mm.
Yeah, 2 years, right?
Yeah,
2 years is
Yeah,
what
he's
it
in
was.
year two. Yeah.
But I think out of the whole movie, all the performances were really well done. I thought this movie was wonderfully casted. Gordon,
Ruben may have some other
fantastic
thoughts.
in this.
Hold off on Gordon here, because Ruben might have some other thoughts on
Okay.
Batman. I'm very curious.
Okay.
So I have to agree with Ryan. Obviously, Christian, you nailed it on the head. His, I would say he's more the character that he's playing is Batman, and like Christian said it's Bruce Wayne Batman. I would say it's Batman Bruce Wayne. I know that's kind of like getting into the semantics, but Ryan said it best, where he was like, basically said he wasn't that good of a Bruce Wayne, but to Christian's point, it's okay because that's where he's in. That's the moment in his life that he's in, where he doesn't really give a shit about Bruce Wayne. He is just focusing on the mission, and that is why I think it's perfect. Even though I don't like it, it's still perfect. I would also say, there's so many things I have to say, but I don't know how to say it.
Let's let Eric give his thoughts, and then we'll go back to you.
Okay.
So I think this is the best portrayal of who Batman is on screen we've ever seen. Specifically, there are like little details sprinkled throughout. One, the first thing I noticed, he doesn't call himself Batman. Like in the very beginning, you see when he's writing in his diary and stuff, it's called Gotham Project.
Yes.
Like he's starting this out. He's seeing if this can work. And Ruben, actually, like semantics you were talking about earlier, it's a very distinct point
Yeah.
because if I can email it to y'all quickly, there's this Batman psychology book that I read. He became Batman the moment his parents were killed. Like the moment that happened, it it got locked in, and I think he's still trying to figure this out. And you could see in Robert Pattinson's performance, he is anxious, he is nervous when he's not in that bat suit.
Yep.
When he's like Bruce Wayne, when he can't do anything Batman as Batman, he doesn't like it. He clearly is unsettled by it. Um, but when he's got the suit on, he is confident. He is an apex predator. He is all of these things that make Batman great. And I know we're going to get into it later, but there's one specific line that the Riddler tells him. Then, like, there it is. That's how they got it. They nailed Batman on the head right there. And he's just, it's so great how they finally. Because my problem with the Nolan movies is that he was Bruce Wayne who happened to use Batman sometimes.
Yes.
Like
100%.
Batman was the mask. This one, like he is Batman.
Bruce
He
is
just
the mask.
happens to be Bruce Wayne sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he
I'm
has
pretty sure he's
okay.
vengeance.
he hasn't figured out, that Bruce Wayne is a useful tool as Batman. But yeah, it's like Kevin Conroy said when he does his performance as Batman, Bruce Wayne is the performance. Like that's the
Oh,
match. So
Conroy the goat. Conroy the goat.
and so he gets Batman. Matt Reeves gets Batman. Like this is the best telling we've had of Batman on screen.
And here, you mentioned a comment here that I want to bring up because I want to partially agree with you. and you said that he's not comfortable in like the Bruce Wayne costume, which you're right. Like I'm agreeing with you there. But there are moments in the movie where you see like the facade of Bruce Wayne transition back into Batman, and it's the fucking eyes, and sometimes it's back and forth. I'm gonna mention two moments here. Like obviously we're in spoiler territory now. Okay, there's your pause for spoilers. It first happens. It's the switch of the eyes when he sees the mayor's kid is now kind of an orphan, right? His father died, and his eyes switch from Batman to Bruce Wayne there because he's relating to this kid on just like an emotional level, like he knows what that's felt like. And there's another shift in the eyes in the funeral scene in the like church when Bruce Wayne is walking through trying to identify people, like who is the Riddler. Criminals go back to the scene of the crime, right? They're gonna want to witness this thing, and so he switches from Bruce Wayne to Batman, even though he's in the Bruce Wayne like costume. And like I don't know, those subtle shifts of Robert Pattinson's eyes is like one of my favorite things about this depiction of Batman. It's so freaking cool.
He acted so well with just his eyes. I agree with you.
I 100% agree. There's also one other thing I want to bring up when we talk about his performance of Batman, and that is I like that this Batman is kind of green at what he's doing. He kind of gets his ass kicked throughout the entirety of this film, and it
Dude,
just keeps going. He's taking punches with the rest of them, and he's rolling with them. And I thought that was a really cool way to do this character. If he's just grit and determination, and that is what the Batman is, and I like that.
yeah, Batman was scared twice in this movie. Once when he was fearing Alfred's life, right? And he admits that he had one fear left, lose people he loved. But on a Batman level, when he reaches the top of like Gotham PD and he's scared for a second, he's really high up and he has to jump. And then he puts his fucking suit on and jumps for the first time. It's so cool, man.
I would say he's also scared when he got blasted in the chest with a double-barrel shotgun and had to inject himself with what's maybe venom. What is the green liquid he injected himself with? I hope that's a plot point.
I would
Just
have said
adrenaline.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
Adrenaline ain't colored like that though. I feel like if you make it neon green in a Bat film,
I mean,
it could be venom.
Bane stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It could be.
I think that will be what he does. I think.
I love the juxtaposition, Ryan, between you and me. I have all the makeup on and in the dark, and you have anime waifu girl behind you.
Yes.
Dude. Like flashbacks to me recording Anime Nation last week and just staring at Ryan's computer. You can't see it as well with this camera setup, but last week, I was just staring at it. Some more performances, and we can just bring up like general movie moments with them as well. Obviously, the biggest one I think for me is Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. This is my favorite James Gordon. It is so freaking cool watching these two bros sleuth out an actual mystery. Them two working together as detectives. Sorry. That's probably my favorite part of the movie is like, let's solve this case together. And that takes you through for most of the movie. It's so cool.
I, for one, love the fact that it's year 2 and he's just rolling into crime scenes with James Gordon on by his side, and he's just like, all right, what's happening here? And he's just looking with his fucking contact, and he's just searching the whole crime scene, taking everything in. And I'm like, fuck yes, that's exactly what I want from a Batman movie. And you know what? I'm jumping way ahead here, but I'm going to go with it anyway. What if, for a sequel, if we get a sequel, I sent this in the chat this afternoon, we get an Arkham Asylum movie. And it's just fucking detective work here and there. Oh my god, I would fucking die.
No, I'll save it.
Okay.
We are getting the Arkham Asylum TV show though, so.
Yeah, which is also also a Penguin TV show.
No, those are two separate shows. There's a Gotham PD show getting made, and then there's one about the Icebox Lounge.
Gotham PD is no longer. It's changed into Arkham Asylum.
It's changed into the Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And then there's a Penguin show also in the works.
Right. But it's just crazy to think that we're getting a Colin Farrell Penguin show where you could barely
fucking Farrell
realize it's him.
I want to talk about the Penguin for a minute because I thought that was one of the best portrayals of Penguin ever done. He felt right. He had the skeeziness to him, all that. He also had that. He knew when he was beaten. He's like, oh, well, don't kill me here, and all that. He fit the neo noir like pulp feel this whole movie's trying to have so well, especially the scene under the bridge. I
Yeah.
loved that scene. I'm like, this is hitting, exactly the beats I want this film to hit, because I don't think of this film as a action movie. I think it's a movie of a couple action set pieces. I would
Yes.
put this down as like neo noir mystery if I had to
Yeah,
really start genre defining it.
1000%.
absolutely.
And I think that's what makes this movie amazing, is the way that works in. And then you get like this Gordon, the way this Gordon talked and everything, it felt straight out of those kind of films. It was perfectly laid out in that way. So I think it really added to the character for that Gordon.
Eric, how about you? And any thoughts on Gordon? And or we can throw in Oz as here as well. In here as well.
I thought it was really good that Batman trusted him and didn't do the I gotta do this on my own. Like he was, you know what? Let's do this together. You're right. I'm trusting you here. Like there was a moment, where that trust was almost kind of broken when they were in the lockup, but Gordon still trusted Batman, and Batman, saw through that. And I enjoyed their chemistry together, especially the thumb drive scene. I thought that was funny.
So good.
I thought that was a nice little joke.
That
Like
was a good one.
I enjoyed that he wasn't, super serious all the damn time, where he didn't crack it, like no joke. Like I enjoyed the you got a lot of cats, and I enjoyed the thumb drive. I thought that was it
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah, like the movie isn't totally dark. It knows when to be lighthearted, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and so I thought Gordon was really good. I'm excited to see more of him, because he did do a very good job. As for Oz, you guys, there's not much more I can add that you guys haven't already mentioned. It was great, especially like the first meeting. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, take it easy, sweetheart."
That's
Like
so good. It's
that's
so good.
that'd be very penguin like. Like, he's got Batman beating the crap out of all his guys, and he's just like no fear or anything. Um,
Just like, let's slow this down a little bit.
For
yeah, and
me,
I enjoyed that they had a conversation like
yeah,
in his office.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's straight out of an animated series
yep.
show. It's not like I
Mhm.
gotta beat you up. You're the penguin. It's like no, I have to talk to
But
you. We're gonna work together.
by the way, Warner Brothers just tweeted out today the clip of Batman fighting through the iceberg lounge for the first time when he first goes in, which is just like an absolutely phenomenal scene.
God, the way the beat hits in that to the punches is amazing. Good
Listen,
God, is it good?
the perfect I think the perfect clip from this movie is where Batman walks into the police station and everybody's up in arms because like they think Batman is the one that's helping Riddler or whatever. I forget what that part of the story, but Jim Gordon is over here and his boss is like, all right, listen, man, you need to get him the fuck out of here or we need to lock him up or something. Again, that's not really the point. The point of the matter is he punches Jim Gordon in the face. And Jim's like, all right, just you gotta punch me. You gotta make this look believable. He punches him in the face.
Didn't pull it either.
Gets away. All you see is a shit ton of cops looking for this man. And he just gets his fucking grapple hook gun and just shoots up from the top of the staircase. It's fucking perfection.
With the Michael Giacchino score like ramping up
Yes.
with the Batman
Oh,
theme. Which,
so
by the
good.
way, that
Oh, good.
theme, there's like 3 or 4 different renditions of that theme, and every time it's so fucking good. I have 2 notes, Ruben. One, I like that scene a lot too. One, because it's funny, because I love Jeffrey Wright just like whispering, "Punch me." in the face."
Exactly.
Like, that
I
shit's
love
funny.
the relationship that these two are building. Not only
Yes.
is it just a work relationship, it's more of like you guys have said it's a relationship that's blossoming into not friendship per se, but a partnership, which is perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect. Chef's kiss.
One of the reasons why I like that scene too is like it's so small. And he like asked like, is that boss that Ruben mentioned, like, is that, you think you're saying he moonlights as like a goon for like these people? Like, no, I'm saying he moonlights as a cop. Like that small differentiation, it's a small line, like really hammers
It's
home
so
like how corrupt Gotham is.
that line hit me when I was watching it during the film. I'm like, oh shit, this kind of Batman. Okay,
Yeah.
I can get
And
behind
then
this.
I thought of something else too, and it's from the very beginning of the movie. So I'm gonna go back for a second because I thought about the score, and it's like the opening when like he's Robert Pattinson is like reading his journal to the the audience or whatever. You know what I mean? The voiceover, and he's saying how like he's utilizing fear as a tactic, right? They think I'm in the shadows. I am the shadows. And there's like numerous shots around Gotham where it's just like total darkness and people think that Batman's coming out
Yep.
and he's in none of them,
Yep.
which is one amazing, but when he actually does come out, it's like the slowest
So
steps ever
scary.
and it's
Yep.
terrifying.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, is there any way we can talk about the first 5 minutes that are absolutely incredible? I'm sitting there with my buddy and watching it, and I'm just like, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
The guy next to me, he's sitting with his friend and the first 5 minutes were just him going, "Sick." Like, yeah, dude, for sure, this is sick as hell. Yeah, of
Like,
course.
and the sound design when Batman walks, you just feel it,
Yep.
and just like that
Oh
slow entrance, and I'm just like, ooh, ooh.
I'm scared.
no, this is a theater film. This is one to go see in the box office, big style, all that kind of deal. Because
Mhm.
the sound design in this movie was next level. The I thought that was some of the best part. The sound and the score, the way Batman
Yeah.
walked, the way the punches didn't have like a fake crunchiness to them. They this felt like they were hitting really, really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Cause like, that's one of my problems with Batman v Superman when he goes off the rails and starts beating the shit out of dudes. Is
I don't
it
know
feels
how I hit that.
almost too hard he's punching. But this felt right. Also, like again, this Batman takes hits. It's like he's still green.
Yeah,
But I think that
absolutely.
whole beginning segment really shows that the town is scared of him, but he isn't this all present being. He is just he wants one person to be able to tell that story and keep the rumor of him growing so the fear will always be there.
Yeah.
By the way, Ryan, before we move on,
Mm-hmm.
you may want to turn off your camera and then turn it back on.
I got you.
I don't know if. Okay, yeah.
We
You
did
were
mention
frozen.
it a while ago, but I did love the line when he goes on top to see Gordon. He's like, "Oh, you could have pulled your punches. I did."
Yeah. Yeah, I love. Thank you, Eric. That's a great line as well.
And if
We haven't talked about Zoe. Huh?
I was just gonna say, if I remember correctly, did he do a disappearing act on Gordon?
No, I
No.
think he did. He
I
did
don't
a
think he does.
disappearing act on one of the other cops.
Okay. Yeah. That's what it was. Okay. I forgot who it was. Oh God, so great.
One person we haven't mentioned is Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle. Of course, you know her as Catwoman, which I had a friend over this weekend. He said he was kind of indifferent. To me, I thought like the Catwoman stuff was absolutely incredible. Like the relationship between um, Batman and Catwoman, I thought like them growing, like Batman learning to be more empathetic with like actual people. I thought was like really cool to see, and like what a nice actual decent like strong Catwoman. And the one I have a recent comparison is like Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises, which I don't remember at all, but Catwoman in this movie is 100% memorable.
Yeah, I would have to say that she was something that I was afraid of. Like there's always that thing in comic book movies where you're like, okay, let's not get too crazy here. You're putting in a little too much in this movie. It's a 3 hour movie. We don't want to oversaturate what you're trying to do. But Catwoman was, for me, a surprising, not twist, but a surprising spin on what I'm used to. I'm used to her just, I guess the closest I can think of is the animated series where she's just
Sure.
like out for herself, but she's not in this movie, and it's great for me to see just a different side of the character. It makes me root for the Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne romance that we get to see in the comics.
And either Eric or Ryan, if you want to jump in on Catwoman as well.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll say my piece on Catwoman. I thought she was really well done for someone with not a lot of acting experience. I thought Zoe Kravitz did an amazing job with her, and I thought the chemistry between her and Robert Pattinson's Batman was real. It was perfect. The kind of energy and stuff I wanted coming off of a Batman and Catwoman, especially a year two Batman, in his first time meeting Catwoman, I thought was all perfect. She toes that line perfectly of good guy, bad guy. Like
yeah,
I'm
especially towards the
stealing,
end.
but she's stealing from Itch, and she's like, I'm just gonna go mess around with the people. Bloodhaven also. I like the shout out whenever they do that kind of thing to Bloodhaven. All that I thought was super cool, and I can't wait to see what they do with her in the next upcoming films for this, because she definitely will be returning.
Yeah. Strongest point for me is watching them work together on the case. Like, okay, I have to give a shout out here. So I'm sorry, Eric. I'm gonna go first if that's okay. There's a moment when Batman is like getting a contact into Selina's eye, right? And she kind of gives the sentiment like, don't you care about me? Like about my safety? Like you don't even know me. And there's a shot of Batman like a close up looking right at Selina, and you think the movie's gonna do like kind of that tropey thing where he gives like a line saying like, no, I'll protect you, right? Like I'll keep you safe, and it doesn't. Batman sticks to the fucking mission and he says, it looks good, referring to the contact in his eye. You find out he was looking at the contact in his eye the whole
Yeah.
time to make sure nobody else can see it. That is Batman and Selena Kyle like early on, like to a T. It was so freaking cool. Then watching them, yeah, of course, she's walking through the Iceberg Lounge and he's like on the comms, just incredible stuff. Okay, Eric, go.
I thought you did a good job. Nothing like I hmm, phrasing here I could use. I wasn't like blown away or anything, but I thought you did a really good job. Um, like she did a good Selena Kyle. Like that's what she did. She did the job, and I think she did really well. I'm excited to see more of her. And it's just it wasn't one of the performances that I was blown away by, but it's still really good. It's a really good job.
Yes.
Do we potentially see a spin-off movie for Selena Kyle?
Is one needed?
No,
I'd
I
argue.
was just merely asking. You know,
A HBO show wouldn't be out of the question, though. I think I could see like a 6-part HBO show.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've
could
heard
see
like in
that.
Bloodhaven or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure.
interesting.
I will say, I just can't believe I forgot this. We do get the probably quintessential Batman moment with Selena, and that's when she's considering taking Falcone's life,
Hmm.
and he does the if you cross that line, you're no better than he is. And Matt Reeves really stressed that Batman has the no kill rule. He is not going to
Yeah.
kill anybody because if you look past at all the other Batman movies, every single one of those Batmen have killed somebody. If they didn't directly do it, they indirectly did it. Batman Begins. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. Like
Right.
um, Dark Knight, he literally tackles Harvey Dent off of a cliff or off of a building, kills him.
I mean,
We say this, Eric, but let's also keep in mind that the whole chase scene with Penguin did end up in a huge explosion on the freeway with multiple cars surrounding Batman's
yes.
Batmobile.
Yes.
And also, in the beginning of this movie, he literally beats this man to a pulp. He could
Don't
be.
know if he's dead. That's very
We
Batman
don't
of
know
these
if
people.
he's dead, but he could very well be brain
And
dead.
He just
still,
took an ass whooping. It's fine.
I still think it's very important that they introduce like the
The
no
no
kill
kill
rule.
rule. Yes.
Like
Yes. No. Yeah.
it's very important to Batman. Like that's his main thing. That's the thing right there. And so I thought that was really well done,
Yeah.
especially like in the line when she's about to kill him. It's like he deserves to pay. Like, don't throw away your life for that. Your life doesn't
Yeah.
have to end too because you do that. And I thought that was really well done.
That's a better scene, to be honest, than the one I was thinking of, which is Jim and Batman going into like the orphanage nearing the third act of the
No,
movie,
that seems
and
funny,
Batman
though.
goes, "No guns," and Gordon goes, "Hey, that's your thing, man."
Yeah.
Again, just
He's
like
like,
two bros out in the
I don't
case.
have the bulletproof bat suit on right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
going
what
in
a
that.
bat suit!
Oh,
Okay, we haven't even
it,
talked about the Batsuit, dude. It's sexy, right?
oh, it's a hot suit. It's a hot suit.
I would say I have a big problem with the mask. That's about it.
What? Okay.
I can
Like
give you that.
it's more. Somebody had pointed it out on Twitter. It's more of like the nose is very Venetian mask, and
He does. He can breathe out of his nose, so he's not going to be a mouth breather like
yeah,
most
but
other.
he could also break his nose
Mouth
very
breather.
easily.
My Batman is not a mouth breather.
That's
Yeah.
the headline for this show. My Batman is
He may
not
be a
mouth
virgin
breather.
though.
He
Oh
could be.
no, he 100% is. That man doesn't know how any of that works. He's figuring it out.
But
And he doesn't need to.
it's very homemade. I think that's what's to show really this. Like he's
Yeah.
got very crude technology. Like it's pretty. Some of it's pretty advanced.
Yeah.
But it's still, I think, very early stages.
I would have liked to see him getting the gun from Joe Chill. Joe Chill, right? Right? That's it.
Yeah, that's who killed.
Yeah,
Thomas.
okay. Joe Chill, just to see like him incorporating the suit. You know, I understand that this is a year two, but it would have been nice to see him get some type of vengeance on the man who murdered his parents.
More on vengeance later, but for now, there's two more characters I want to introduce, and then we can just continue hopping around the rest of the movie because we've covered a decent amount of stuff, and there's still some stuff I want to bring up. John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, which I thought was absolutely incredible. Like, just Yeah, Ruben's already celebrating it. I love that man so much to death.
So good.
His Falcone was amazing. And then, of course, Paul Dano as fucking the Riddler is incredible, dude. What an amazing performance by both of those freaks.
Now, go ahead, Ryan.
You can go, Ruben, and I'll go after you.
I was just gonna say I don't know much about Paul Dano, so you guys are gonna have to tell me what else has he done.
He's a freak in every movie, dude.
He's nothing like this. This is the most like outrageous thing I think he's done.
Okay.
He did do that
'Cause,
one
like-
movie where Daniel Radcliffe was.
Oh, I was about to bring up Swiss Army Man, but in Swiss Army Man, he's playing the straight guy. He's not the comedy act for it. He's the guy who's like, what the fuck is happening here?
Okay.
And that's usually what he plays. And then he's the kid in Little Miss Sunshine, right?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
he's the kid with daddy issues and There Will Be Blood, and he's like, I think he's the
Oh, There
man
Will Be
with
Blood, now that's a
autism
film.
in Prisoners.
Okay.
Yeah, all fantastic roles, but Riddler, like Paul Dano's Riddler was like amazing. And I
I
love
heard-
that it wasn't just totally serious Riddler all the time. We did get like one clip of him just being an absolute incel on his little live stream.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for 500 followers. Like that is like classic Riddler kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not as probably
yeah.
fantastical as we're used to, but like still incredible.
It's close to Grounded, which
Yeah,
again,
for
which
sure.
falls into the middle for me.
I have actually a good amount of stuff to say on this Riddler, because I think he is one of the highlights of this film. Like every great Batman movie needs a great Batman villain. And the problem with the Riddler is, in the comics, he's kind of changed into what we saw in the movie today, but in most people's heads, because of the 1960s Batman and Jim Carrey's version, he is just a kooky guy who says riddles and has a green cane and a big question mark on and a bowler hat. Don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey's rendition, quite fun. But there was something to this. I remember my friend turned to me when we were walking out of the theater and, like, I think Paul Dano did for the Riddler what Heath Ledger did for Joker all those years ago. And I think I really agree with that statement.
Yeah.
That when I watch this, I'm like, this is now what people are going to think of when they think of the Riddler. This unsettling, insane, but also mad genius who I really thought in that, again, another part of my favorite scene in the whole film where Batman and him are talking in between the cell, and he's like, "You played your role perfectly. We both did our job. You brought him to the light and all this." And he's just rambling on and like screaming in there and writhing and all this. I'm like, this is just unsettling.
So
It's every time he's on screen, it's just unsettling. I think that's amazing. Also, the incel stuff of him having a live stream on 4chan, I think is really fucking funny.
Yeah.
But God, are the comments on it terrifying if you just sit there and read them.
yeah, I also want to add one verb to Ryan's description of the Riddler: influential, which I think is going to play a big part in if there is a sequel in the sequel. If what they're hinting at the end of the movie is what is tales to come, I guess.
I can speak on that in a minute
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Well, I'm like,
Just-
wasn't that all confirmed?
Yeah, but it's just scary how influential he was. Like the fact that he was able to get a group of more people to follow his dream, not his dream, his plan out for him while he was in jail is kind of scary.
Well, he did it before he was in jail.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he was able to get these people to do it even though he was still in jail.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I think that was the unsettling thing. At the end of the day, he may have been the what these people were all looking for something to push them over the edge, and they just happened to find it online, which is a thing that just does happen in the real world. I think that was the most grounded part of this movie, that the final villain is just a bunch of crazy people with guns, because
Yeah.
that is a real life fear in this world. I mean, hell, I went and saw this movie opening night. My theater had 3 cops in it, lining each side. It's a fear that's rooted in Batman because of the terrible things that have happened at Batman premieres and all that. So to have that as a major storyline, the end beat is that kind of real life darkness. I think adds something to this film that I thought was really neat to make it that grounded feel, but still have these moments of it's still a comic book film. Because I'd
Sure.
still call this a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Right.
I want to hear Eric's thoughts on the Riddler here before I give my piece.
I think what makes it so good is how different it is. Like, Ryan was right. We do have the can't remember his last name, first name Frank, who did 66 Riddler. And then you have Jim Carrey Riddler, and then you have the difference. You have Arkham Riddler, who's got that flamboyant nature about him, but he's also very,
Fantastic.
soft. He puts all those people in all the death traps and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's very obsessive, and you kind of get that in this movie. But I think the biggest thing, the best thing about the Riddler is the interrogation that Batman does in Arkham.
Thank
Because
you.
two major things. One thing I talked about earlier, where they give Batman, is when Riddler looks at Batman and says, "That's you." Like, I've taken mine off. I've taken my mask off. You can't, because that's you right there. Like that's Batman. Like, this is the real him right there, talking to him, talking to Riddler. And I thought that was beautiful. And two, probably the biggest thing in this movie that made me go, okay, is I like how this movie does bring up social issues. Like, this movie does a really good job of when Riddler goes into his little piece talking about Bruce Wayne. It's very sad, but all everyone can talk about is poor Bruce Wayne. Poor Bruce Wayne. And he talked about, what being an orphan actually is? Like 36 to a room.
Yep.
Like, no one caring about you, babies freezing. And it really makes you think about the Batman mythos. Like, sure, Bruce was orphaned, but
He had it made.
comes from a very privileged background.
Yes.
And I think to have the crux of the movie come from a fund that's supposed to help the less fortunate really drives it home. Because it just
Yep.
shows the major amount of corruption in this city is that people are taking money away from other people who really need it. And we get to the big reveal, which I love that they kind of went the Telltale Batman route, and Thomas and Martha were involved in all this.
Yep.
I love that because when I saw that there was a projector, I'm like looking at my buddy. I'm like, oh, are they Telltale Batmaning this, or has Thomas been involved in all this? And exactly that's what happened. Thomas was involved in this. Now you learn further down the line that it wasn't as heavy as the Riddler intended, but it just shows that everyone can be corrupted. Even Bruce's picture perfect idea of his
Parents.
dad.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, Riddler was really, really good. He was unsettling. He was scary. Riddler's music, Riddler's score, very unsettling.
Okay.
There was
Here's
one
my
thing I
thing.
wanted to bounce off of before, because Eric said it right there real quick, and that was how he's like, Bruce Wayne isn't what the idea of being an orphan is, and there's a scene in that where Falcone is during the funeral scene where Bruce Wayne bumps into Falcone, and he's like, and Falcone's like, whoa, 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 boys, you're the crown prince of the city there, and all that, saying that Gotham has taken care of and protected this kid his whole life. The money that he was already in Gotham's elite, he was fine forever. And I think that's really shows the difference there in those characters
Yeah.
and all that. I just want to add that part to it.
Yeah, good point. I want to jump on something that Eric said real quick as well. First of all, I love that the whole movie has different characters reminding Batman that Bruce Wayne is a privileged person, because one, that just rocks because it's true. But two, speaking on the Riddler stuff, the interrogation scene, and I'm going to include what Ryan said way earlier as well. Like, when I think about Heath Ledger and why the Joker worked, is because that interrogation that the Joker has, not the like actual, but like the thematic interrogation of like order versus chaos, and really like proving that like how chaos can really undermine like everything we know about order very quickly, and that like really affecting Batman. The same thing is happening with the Riddler, but with like mental illness. Like the Riddler is, I don't want to go far. He's deranged for sure, but like he is like a troubled person, and like when we're looking at that interrogation scene, to me that's a mirror. Like Batman is really having to like fight off the fact that like me and this guy are actually more similar than we are different, and that I think really hits home in the climax, which I want to save for just a bit later because we still have to talk about like some major like our favorite moments during the movie. I have one critique here that I just remembered. I totally forgot to bring up one character in this film, and it's my one actual critique, which is Andy Serkis's Alfred. A great Alfred, don't get me wrong. I loved like the emotional kind of arc that was there between the two. It was not enough. He was barely in it for me, and I wanted a bit more of like Alfred as like this moral guideline there. And he kind of as soon
Michael
as he's
Caine.
out of
You
the
wanted
movie, he's out.
You wanted more Michael Caine.
Michael Caine is good, and like no, I don't want more Michael Caine. I just wanted more like
Well, in the
Alfred
sense of
and
like
Bruce
Michael.
like talking.
Okay. Well, I was more saying like you wanted Michael Caine's attachment to Bruce, like showing. For me,
It's not
that's
even
that's the peak of Alfred.
sure. It's not even so much the attachment. It's Alfred really being the reminder, like to step into the light, like to be
Yeah.
this hopeful figure. Um, Granted, I don't think that would work thematically with how the climax ends up happening.
Mm-hmm.
But it still would have been nice to have more like reminders that like Alfred like really trying to pull Bruce out a little bit, right, and not just be like Batman all the time. But still, what we got was still really good. The freaking what
I
is
was
it
about
called?
to bring that scene up. That scene got me. I was like,
Cufflinks. The cufflinks.
the
Yeah,
cufflinks. He's
so
like,
good.
your father gave me these 30 years ago. Here, and he's like, what about all that? The whole thing of he basically is Bruce's dad, and the coming to terms of that, and Bruce realizing all that, and kinda, Those moments were so great. I just wanted more of those moments. I completely agree with you, Christian. They underutilized what I think is one of the best Alfreds we've seen in a long time.
Yep, absolutely.
I would say to counteract Christian's point, the reason why that Andy Serkis's Alfred doesn't really give him to that push to be the hope is because Batman doesn't really know. He doesn't really know what this is just a project to him, you know. Like
Yes.
he's testing the waters to see if it actually works.
And I'm with you. I think Bruce is like super arrogant. Like he's not changing until something happens, and,
Right.
and really like he has to be shown before he changes. Which why I agree with you. Why it wouldn't work. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's just talk about some of our favorite moments before we like get into the climax. For me, obviously, like a big one that we haven't even talked about is the Batmobile, and how amazing that sound design is when that freaking engine is revving up.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
So good. So good. The minute that he starts up the engine where they're in the warehouse, you just see headlights coming out from the darkness is fucking chilling, but it's also so good. Oh my god. It's perfect.
Don't know if it's been discussed yet, but the whole Batmobile in general in this film, that's a sexy ass Batmobile.
Yeah.
God, I love the Nolan films. The Dark Knight's one of my favorite movies of all time. I hated the Tumbler. God, I hated it. It was a terrible Batmobile. The Batmobile in this just being a muscle car with a mid-engine rocket engine. Yeah, no, that's dope. That that whole scene with him chasing the Penguin is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only wish is they did not show him walking out of the flames in the trailer. I wish that was saved for theater. Because that moment, if I did not see that moment coming, I was like, oh my god.
So
It's
good.
Can't
insane,
imagine.
dude. And they filmed it like in the hardest way possible, which is just anchoring the cameras on,
Yeah.
on the actual cars. It's just all practical, which works for the movie, but like, goddamn, they're insane.
They are. They did the filming it. Is all I'm saying.
I like how, first off, Frank, thank you for your lovely
I was going to
comment.
mention that. I was waiting for.
Thank you, Frank. I loved how in that scene, Batman is filmed as the monster. Like he's the one. The he's the terror right now. Like Penguin is very scared. Like this is a equivalent to a slasher chasing somebody in a horror film. That's what I got with this chase. Like Penguin is scared. He is desperate. Especially like that moment of rush when he's like, "Oh my god, I got you," and like in some horror movies, that does never works. And Batman just, and I'm just like, oh, so good.
You just see his jaw drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just so great. God, what an awesome car, and I love that it's practical too. For right now,
Yeah.
like he's not at that stage right now where like it's kind of theatrical like the other Batmobiles. Like this is practical. I'm gonna be fast. I'm gonna come after you, and that kind of goes with the whole Gotham project right now. He's still figuring this out.
Right.
So I think maybe down the line we're gonna get a more refined Batmobile. But I also just love that he's been working on this in the Batcave or whatever it is he's got going on right now under the tower.
Oh
Um,
my god, the Batcave with actual
Bat
bats in it.
hangout.
yeah, I thought that was great, and especially like I love the line in the beginning, when Bruce is like, "I don't care what happens to me." Like that was really good. Like that's very year one, and it reminded me of the scene in Arkham Origins when Bruce is yelling at Alfred, saying like, "I'm the reason why the Mugger stops and thinks about what he does. Like I'm the reason why people just breathe a sigh of relief whenever the sun rises. So I don't care what happens to me. Like everyone else is gonna. It's just so so good. Mm.
I'm gonna list off some more favorite moments here that I have, and I just have to re-emphasize Greg Fraser's cinematography here, like because specifically the lighting in this movie is just absolutely rips. It reminds me of how the animated series would start with a black canvas instead of a white canvas, and they would slowly add like color. This felt the exact same way, where it was like practical effects in the actual movie, lighting our subjects. There's three scenes, obviously, that I think of. One is the club scene when he's going to the Iceberg Lounge, phenomenally lit. The second is the hallway scene with Batman being shot at with like live, like not live rounds, obviously, but like blanks,
Oh
on
my
set, and it's
god.
him actually walking through it,
The
and
fact that
he's
that's a
lit by
practical scene is so
dude,
fucking cool.
right?
Me and my friend were
Uh,
talking about that this weekend for like an hour, just like, God, the idea for that is so good.
Fucking rocks. And then third, obviously, the flare, being in the light,
Yeah.
embodying that light in that darkness.
The hope of Gotham.
Ah, what a movie, man.
Do we? Because I know Travail said he has the
Yeah.
question.
I have questions here.
Okay. Oh, you have questions? Awesome.
Oh, it's just two.
Oh, just two. Either way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Either way. I really. Oh, fuck. I had something. Someone else talk about. I have lost my train. Oh, I really just love the scene when he's going to the iceberg rounds for the first time, and the twins open the door. You know who I am. You better get out of here before all the blood gets in that suit. Mine or yours. I'm like, oh,
Oh, it
oh.
was so good. I made an audible just ooh when that happened. God, it was good.
I like reading tweets of people who are like moaning during like various scenes, and it just depends on person to person. It's like Zoe Kravitz walking in, just like a moan, or Robert Pattinson doing something. Moan.
I've seen those. They're funny.
I did see one tweet that was the perfect review for this. It's like, man, um, the Batman was so freaking boring. I fell asleep after I orgasmed after the first 5 minutes.
That's really good.
That's really funny.
Okay, I covered all my favorite, like most of my favorite moments. You want to throw in a speak pipe question in here?
Yes.
Or are we saving that till later?
No, we could throw it in here. Okay, so we got two questions from Travail. So here's the first one.
Oh man, threw in two questions.
It's me again. I love the chemistry between Bat Pattinson
Yeah, are you starting with this first one or the second one?
and
This is the first one.
Zoe Cat. But do you
you hear
think
it?
maybe it would have been cool
Yeah, I can hear it.
if they would have pushed the envelope just a little bit and let Zoe Cat kind of do her own thing? I catch a feeling that she would have checked box other when it comes to like sexuality. Anyway, just a thought. Thanks, guys.
Play his other one. I want the context.
Okay.
Hey, I'm just curious what your favorite bat suit is. I think this one is my favorite, mostly because it feels like it's something that could have been created by a survivalist, somebody out there in the wild. All the little gadgets and fun things in his suit felt functional. Anyway, just my thoughts. Thanks.
I love the pipeline in Travail's head from going from what's your favorite batsuit to
Sorry.
was Kravitz unhealthily sexualized this film. he's got a point,
Yeah.
but I also don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that I think she's not sexy for the purposes of pleasure in the movie. Just to answer Travail's question, I think sexiness is just a side effect of like the way she's like utilizing her body language to like maneuver through her situations.
Exactly. Like her in the iceberg lounge is phenomenal. The way that she like is dipping and dodging people, and the way that she's able to get her way with the guy that's just sitting with a group of his
The DA?
friends. Yeah, the DA. Oh my god, it's perfect just enough for it to work where she doesn't need it to be on 24/7, especially when she leaves the iceberg lounge and she's like she's calling a cab and she's just like no. Yeah.
Right.
What was I gonna go with this? In the end of this film, she's holding a cat when they're talking before they drive off on their separate motorcycles. I did not see a cat carrier on her motorcycle. Was that just a random cat she found? That's my only critique of Catwoman in this. I'm
No,
like,
I
where'd you
think
get
she put
that?
it in the book bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm like, where the fuck are you keeping that?
yeah.
But no, I thought I'm a Christian. I think there's just it was a side effect of it being not intentionally, like that wasn't the point of her character was to be the eye candy. I think she had a lot more deeper roots in the story than that.
Yeah.
Um and then for his second question, I'll start this off. This is my favorite Batsuit. This is by far. It's not even a question. Like I love the Nolan suit. Don't get me wrong. The armor in it and stuff is awesome, but the one fact that this suit has taken the bulletproof cape idea and made it his whole suit really cool. And the second thing that sold me on it was when he was dangling from the electrical line and he pulls this out and the batarang is on his chest.
Ugh.
Because I'm like, this makes sense now. Why the fuck is it? Was he just self-promoting this entire time back in when it's just been a logo on his chest for the rest of every other suit? I'm like, I like that there's a reason for him having a big ass bat on his chest,
Just makes
and
sense.
it's
Yeah,
that's the knife and everything.
he used it earlier too to get like cut something to get
Yeah,
into
yeah,
a
he used
window,
it
and
as
then he
to
placed
get
it
into the
back.
police and through
Fuck.
police tape. He just cut it open.
Nah, this suit is sexy. It's a hot suit. Is it my favorite? Maybe not. Like I do like the Ben Affleck like cloth look and like how bulky. Obviously, it's a padded suit as well. Like they're all padded, but it still like looks cool. Like when I think Batman, it's like kind of like more cloth material. This would be a very close second.
Also, Ben Affleck had probably like 50 pounds on Robert Pattinson.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was ripped when he was playing Batman.
Yeah. Never forget the goat.
Eric, what's your favorite Batsuit?
Let's see. Got to go with the nipples from Batman and Robin.
Stop.
I
This
had
man,
a
can't
feeling
take
Eric was
him
a bat nipples
seriously.
man.
No, this suit is just it's hard to describe how good this suit is. Um, it's kind of got like that Arkham Knight vibes, where Arkham Knight's
Yep.
fully decked out suit with all the metal on
Oh
it.
yeah, it does look like that.
But I do love how homemade it is because it fits with the character right now.
Right.
And do I like the cloth suit from Ben Affleck? Absolutely. Like that suit it was Dark Knight Returns, just like ripped off the
Yep.
comic book screen.
Yeah, it was. It was
That
gorgeous.
And so this one is just it just oh it's designed so well, and it makes him seem a lot bigger than he is, because when he takes his shirt off and when he's at home, he's not huge. He's not a big dude.
Right.
But I like how
Yeah.
the Batsuit like gives him that look.
Mhm.
I think it
Yep.
kind of needs to, especially with all the protection that he's getting. The guy literally took multiple
So many bullets.
shotgun shells to his chest, and he wasn't fine, but like he had no injuries. So I think it needs to be.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be pretty bulky for him.
Ruben, I am so happy you brought up the shotgun to the chest because we haven't talked about the climax, and I think this would be a good way for us to kind of wrap up our thematic discussion. Of course, Riddler bloods Gotham, which bonkers, absolutely insane that this is actually happening. We have our incel group coming to, to shoot the mayor and maybe other people that are like in this center as well.
Oh, they
and
were
here's
there
where
to kill everyone. They wanted just a funnel pipe for the city.
Gotcha. And here's what I really like about this scene. One, we have finally have like a mayor who is a good person.
He's not corrupt.
Seemingly, yeah, exactly, right. But this is where like the actual origin of Batman takes place, which is like the whole we were using the marketing, which is "I am vengeance." Batman learning that line is actually detrimental to what he is doing and saying as Batman, and realizing that this is actually causing more of a problem than helping at all, was like that is my chef's kiss moment of the movie.
It only
What do you
took him
do?
6 days to realize that.
Yeah, I mean he's been doing this longer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but like in the beginning of this movie, he states that he is vengeance, that he has to do what he has to do to save the city, to become
Yes.
whatever it is. But like
He
the end of this movie, it took him 6 days to realize, oh, this shit is crazy out here. I can't be just going out taking vengeance on criminals. I have to be something better than that.
Right.
Just, what I related it to was in the beginning of this film, he had the Batman feel and all that, and like the way he monologued to himself and all that, and like his journal and all that, he reminded me of Rorschach. He reminded me
Oh yeah.
of Rorschach from Watchmen because of like the way he's like monologuing over the cityscapes and all that kind of thing, and he is pushing past that edge of he thinks the whole city's just burning and he needs to try and do anything he can to save it and all that. To him realizing when you only live for vengeance and revenge, you end up like the Riddler. That's what happens. That's the man you become. He realized that again in that beautiful one of my favorite shots in the whole film of him holding the flare up. He is the hope now of Gotham. He may bring fear to the criminals in the underworld, but for the people of Gotham, he's a sign of hope and change for that city. And that switch from vigilante who is out there kind of just doing it for his own revenge to I am here for the betterment of the city. This is my job now. I think is probably the best part of this whole film.
Okay, cool. I can go in. I can keep going further.
Yeah.
There's a moment, and I have to. Okay, at the beginning of the film, we of course get Batman looking at this young child, his eyes softening. Right, he's looking at him through the lens of Bruce and not Batman. The second time we see like this interaction with the child again, just with eye contact from across the way at the funeral scene, he is looking at the kid again. Right, it's this time it's Bruce looking at this child, and the child like notices, like they make eye contact together one more time. The ter- the third time we see this happen, man, it's during the flare scene, and Batman is sticking his hand out to rescue people, and no one is grabbing it. And who fucking grabs it? But the fucking same kid. He is the first one to realize that Batman is a symbol of hope and not of something that we should entirely fear. And that it was like my favorite moment of the movie. It just says so much with just this small character interaction that then allows for everyone else um, to jump in and be like, okay, we're buying this. Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
100%. I agree.
So when I was leaving the theater, I was going to the bathroom and I saw a bunch of, I want to say they were probably late, early 20s, guys talking about the movie. And a lot of them didn't really understand why it didn't make sense why Batman would cut that wire and go into the water. And I'm like, you guys just don't get Batman. He literally will do that every time. Like
Say that
he,
to their face.
no, I did not because I was just like, I don't want to get into an argument right now. I need to pee.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so like that's what Batman is. Like, sure, yes. Like the eyes, the look in his eyes, then we go back to Robert Pattinson was acting. The look in his eyes when the Riddler guy said, I'm vengeance, like that turn right there where he's like,
Mm.
what? Um and also I remember seeing anecdotally on Twitter someone put like the picture with Batman holding the person and they're walking in the sunlight and stuff. Talking about how this isn't like really Batman. It's like he's saving people. That's Superman's thing. I'm like, read a Batman comic, please. Because Batman, you guys are right. Batman is hope for Gotham. Like he is the reason why everyone can enjoy the sun when it rises. Like he will be there for. He will go into the night to take care of the monsters. Like so
Yeah.
you can have, um, I don't know. I'm rambling on here, but I
Cool.
think it was perfect. Especially like when we talked about practically how the flare was used as the light source for the shot.
Yep.
I thought that was really fantastic. And you know, just the trust that he had in Selena to help him out. And I think is really good, and I like how that's how it ends. Like this isn't
Yeah.
like he didn't win per se. Riddler flooded the city, probably killed a bunch of people. Um, but he realized what he has to do now, and especially like the line when Catwoman was like, "I would ask you to come to Bloodhaven, but I think you're already taken." I'm like, "Ooh,
Mm.
that's a good one right there."
Perfect.
Oh, it's so good.
I almost forgot to mention this, and I can mention it now since we're at the end. There was a cameo in this movie. Barry Coogan, another freak, we love to see it, as the Joker. I totally thought it was Two-Face at first, but it is
I
the
also
Joker.
thought it
They're
was
doing
Two-Face.
I was
They're-
figuring Scarface. That was not Scarface. Fucking Scarecrow.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Turns out Matt Reeves really interested in doing a different take on Joker this time around, and not a vat of acid, but a congenital disease, and that's like kind of the origins of Joker there. The face effects, I forgot what I was
The
reading an
rigor
article about it.
mortis grin that he wants
Yeah,
him to have and all this kind of thing.
yeah. I found out in reading that the Joker was in this movie originally as like a Hannibal Lecter-esque kind of scene where Batman goes to interrogate Joker to try to get into the mind of the Riddler to try to like help him figure out this case.
Oh,
Which would that have hurt pacing? Probably. They said in editing it just didn't work, so I'm going to trust them. But I also think that was just an absolutely incredible idea to be doing that.
It will be a
Then the
deleted.
question is, then why is it in here at all? Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
It is a deleted scene, so when it comes out on uh, physical and digital, it's a deleted scene that you'll be able to watch.
I can't
Amazing.
wait for that.
I do think it would have been very detrimental to the film if we just saw like Joker's face. Like, let's stick to having him in the shadows, and it's just Batman speaking to this voice that's in the shadows.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure,
that way
sure,
we
sure.
don't see his face and we don't know who it is. You know.
And
I wouldn't have mind even if they went like really heavy-handed with the Hannibal Lecter out and had him in a face mask of some sort, but you could kind of see a grin popping through it. I think that would have been
Oh,
right. Think about it for a second,
Okay,
Christian.
that would
no,
have been
that
awesome.
works, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
And I think what works about this is that Matt Reeves talked about how with this, this is a world that's lived in. So like Joker already could have come across Batman before, but maybe not like the version we know him as. And I think this goes into like like there was a time when Joker oversaturated the Batman villain market. I admit that. But like there's a reason why the Joker is always when you talk about greatest villains of all time, it's always in the top two, top three for a reason. Like when you do him right, that is the foil for Batman right there.
Right.
Like that's the other side of the coin, not taking out Two Face or something like that. But so when done correctly, it's good. Like he's got a friend. Like Riddler has a friend now. That's something like he wanted. And so I think this is really terrifying for the future of Gotham right now. Because I figure when he said like when he said that quote like you become a clown or something like
Yeah.
okay he's right
When I
next to
realized.
me.
Mhm.
Oh,
So I yeah oh
the scene where these two crazy motherfuckers are just laughing,
Yeah.
unsettling.
and
That's
then like oh I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna go off. Every great Joker needs a good laugh, and that's a great laugh they've given this Joker.
Yep.
That's all I wanted to say. What you can go on, Eric.
I love like he sees on the TV that like Batman is helping. Like the Riddler feels like he
Mm-hmm.
maybe have failed right there.
Yeah.
Batman's in the light. New mayor not taken out. So Riddler's plans are kind of foiled, and he's like very upset, and that's why he's got this friend right here to help him. So yeah, so good.
Last question before we end the show is what you would like to see in a sequel. And I'll say that I don't personally want like a Joker story. If he's involved, then that's totally cool because I love Barry Coogan, and I like the Joker. But we've already seen it enough in recent memory that I don't want to see that. But I think is actually happening, and this is based off like interviews that I've seen, is they're interested in telling a Hush story, which I'd be interested in because I don't know that much about Hush, but from what I heard, it's an incredible storyline. And then of course what the writers and even the actors have been talking about in interviews is that they're also really interested in Court of Owls. But I think Hush is what they're going for instead.
So,
So
I just have to say something. I think the next movie, if they don't go with the Arkham Asylum stuff, it's definitely going to be a duality of Hush and Court of Owls. I think they can pull that off, especially with the way that they kind of like put some mud on the name of Thomas Wayne.
yes.
So it would work perfectly if we found out, oh, Thomas Wayne was doing some dirty business on the side and he also has an illegitimate child, you know? Oh my God, perfect. And he's also part of the Court of Owls and he's still alive. Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh.
So here's my thought on it and where I want the sequel to go. I think the next story will be Hush, which is a big ensemble cast story for Batman involving Joker, Catwoman, too. It involves so many Bat villains. And I think that's what these movies are really going to do is um use an ensemble cast. I noticed in this one, like we got Penguin, Catwoman. This I think that's going to be a strength for these films. But I think that will be the next storyline, and I think the last shot will be iconic, like the ending of Batman Begins, where it's a Joker playing card. It's going to be a symbol for the Court of Owls. I think Court of Owls will be
fuck.
this story's big magnum opus because it is again a brand new take on it and all that. But I can't wait for just how well the cinematography is in this. There's a moment in Court of Owls where you are turning the comic book while reading it because Batman is slowly losing his mind, lost in the underground of Gotham, and you begin to lose your mind because every time you look at a new page, you have to start flipping it and rotating it. I can't wait to see how they incorporate that kind of ideas into cinema because I think
Mhm.
these people can do it, and the cinematography will be gorgeous for that. So that's where I see it going. As I see Hush into Court of Owls as the final story.
Eric.
So yeah, I think those really good ideas. I want like more Penguin rising up in the ranks and becoming kind of like the criminal overlord of Gotham. But yeah, I think Hush would be really good when they had the Hush Easter egg in the movie. It was like,
Yeah.
oh man. Now the thing is, you're not gonna be able to have Superman in this, but you can take that part out with the Hush comic.
Sure.
But I think if you do Hush, here's what you do. So you do Hush for the second movie because it kind of still fits with the detective motif they want to go with. You can pull the Arkham City route where
Yeah.
Hush was taking people's skin and making it look like Bruce Wayne was killing all these people.
I was just going to say that.
So, and here's how you end the movie. Here's how you end the movie. So, at the end of the second movie, Hush or whoever goes to see somebody. You don't know who. You see a chair or something like that. They're talking about Batman, like how do we deal with Batman? And the person, they say the iconic line. They go, "What is the only predator of a bat?" And then an owl busts through the window or something like that,
Oh, that's so good.
and like eats a bat. And it's just like, oh, because like that shot in the comic when Owl like
Yeah.
picks up a bat, oh, it's so good. Um, But yeah, I think Court of Owls would be awesome. Like I'm ready to play Gotham Knights this year, even though it
Yeah.
doesn't have Batman in it. I'm ready for.
Of course, it has Batman in it. There's the
Batman?
rumors that
It's got Batman.
huh?
They said he's
Oh, okay,
dead.
you heard that?
They have said
I
he's
don't
dead.
buy it. I don't buy it.
I also
Nah,
don't. I
yeah,
think
I
he
also
will
don't
be.
buy it.
I think he will be $9.99 when the game comes out as DLC.
Oh, I see him going to be like I would say
Be a
main
talent.
halfway plot point.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe like 75% of the way through the game, you find out, oh look, the
He's
Penguin is
actually
actually Bruce
alive.
Wayne in costume.
It's
Oh,
gonna be hard to
it's
the Batman.
crazy.
Batman.
No, it's gonna pull a Metal Gear Solid 2. And he'll be
Even
there
better.
the whole time. We just can't play as him. He'll just,
It'll
be
just be
there.
Oracle.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, if none of that happens, anything Mr. Freeze because Freeze rocks. Okay.
Freeze is
I want to know what a grounded Mr. Freeze looks like.
Matt Reeves says he has an idea.
Yeah, he does.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger again.
Sure.
Put
Why
you
not?
on ice, Batman.
It's just Robert Pattinson playing
No,
the two roles.
I believe he actually said that it wouldn't be like the comic book tropiness of Mr. Freeze. It would just be like a regular doctor that's trying to save his wife and not create all this destruction, that he just wants to turn the world into the frozen Iceland in order for his wife to survive. So it's just like a
Yeah,
regular Joe Schmo. It's perfect.
I both like that and both hate it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That just pulls him
Yeah.
more into the world of being Captain Cold.
yeah.
Out
This
to the
is true.
Flash villain.
Yeah. And then we just see Grant Gustin popping in saying hi.
Well, all right. Are we giving the Batman a score?
Yes.
Yeah.
Christian.
Who wants to start?
Christian,
Oh,
you're
I start.
starting, yes.
Are we on the 5-point scale or 10-point scale?
We're doing 20-point scale, so it's 10,
What is it?
9.5, 8.5.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. 9.5.
Okay. Eric.
10.
Ryan.
And
I'm going to have to go 9.5 as well.
9.7.
Yeah.
Is that how that
9.75.
works? We're not on a 20-point scale. I'll give it a 10. You know, just to
All right, fine. I
Why
guess
not,
we're giving
you
this
know?
movie a 10. I guess. All right.
yes.
yeah.
Is this the penultimate conquest first movie score where we're throwing
No.
out our first 10 as well?
Unfortunately, it's not. Spider-Man No Way Home got the first 10, I believe.
We didn't even review it. We
You're
didn't
right.
give it a score.
We didn't give it a score? Oh, no, that's right. We
gave-
did
yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, you guys have your Marvel
Cross
ranking.
Media gets scores.
Yeah,
We gave
yeah.
Dune
Yeah,
like a
like-
4.5 or something.
Okay, yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We did. This is true.
10 out of 10 for the Batman. Here's my thing. I have issues with it, but I'm cool overlooking them because the Batman just rocks. You know.
It's so good. Everything else is perfect.
Now, I have a question. For you guys personally, where does this rank in the Batman films for you?
Ooh, the live action.
Live action, like, so no animated or Lego Batman or anything, just strictly live action.
This is probably tied for Dark Knight with me.
I would put this as number 1.
This is my number
And
one.
yeah,
Over Batman Begins.
I would put then I would put Batman Begins 2 and then Dark Knight 3 is what I'd do.
That's
I
my
would
top
have
three.
it flip. This is my number 1 as well. I think The Dark Knight though The Dark Knight is a better film if I'm critiquing it just off the merit of being a film. The Dark Knight is a near perfect film in my eyes. As a Batman story, this is the best Batman story ever told on cinema.
Yeah,
And that's where I
can-
stand with it.
yeah, I agree with you there.
And then Batman Begins is just a great film. There's nothing else like Batman Begins.
So good.
I love that movie. Yeah. Okay, we did it. We've wrapped up the Batman review discussion. Congrats on our first, I think, perfect score we've given on the Penultimate Conquest.
Yes.
So 10 out of 10 for the Batman.
Congratulations
Beast.
to the
It's not
Batman.
perfect.
Let's start with some plugs. I'll start with Ryan.
Hello. You can find me on Twitter at RyanTheLion3055 for wherever and whatever I'm doing on this wild world, the internet.
Keep an eye out for our review discussion of the final episode, the final season recap of Attack on
Attack
Titan.
on Titan.
Yeah.
It's getting
In, like,
spicy.
yeah.
2 weeks. It's all over then.
Crazy.
Well, we have a movie later, but yeah. Daddy Eric.
Hey, what's up? You can find me at Eric C. Ginn on Twitter. When I'm not raising a child, I'm trying to get through Horizon Forbidden West. Man, that game is long. I have
I've
I have
given up.
45% of the game done, and I have 45 hours into the game.
Oh my god.
That's an 80-hour game.
They definitely went bigger for this one in a good way. Yeah, still working on that. I'm ready. I'm not looking forward, like rushing and everything to get to Elden Ring. I'm just enjoying my time with Horizon.
Come join
And
us
then
as
when I
Elden
play-
Lords, Eric.
Good.
And then when I get to Elden Ring, I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah.
Aloy
So
is
then-
hot. I'm just showing that. Aloy is
Thank
great.
you for saying that. Yeah, I agree. Also, I think Varl's a hot dude as well.
Horizon Forbidden West, great for representation. We'll say that.
but bad for storytelling.
You hush.
Give me your plugs.
You can find
Soul.
me at That Guy Tuesday on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the channel at Pen Conquest on Twitter and the Penultimate Conquest on Instagram. Yeah, I'm trying to like figure out work schedule, but work and life balance, but also podcast balancing. So the website has been updated in a while, but I'm working on it. So give me some time. And that's all I got. Christian, where can people find you?
You can follow me at ISO Christian for all the stuff I'm doing, like my movie podcast I do every other week, and that's Large Popcorn. I also do a weekly gaming show with Podcast PXN every Wednesday. I also recently started doing videos for Tech Raptor, so those videos
Oh.
have started to go
Hell
up as
yeah.
well. Shout out to Mara Rivera. And then
Congratulations,
lastly, thank you. And then for all the stuff I do here on Penultimate Conquest, like the videos I'm doing, if you're keeping an eye on that, there should be one. Gosh, I'm trying to finish editing it, but it should be out the 25th, like next Friday. By the 25th is what I'm saying. So
Okay.
TBD, but keep an eye out. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. With that being
Alright.
said, guys, I don't know if you know this, but I think we're all vengeance.
I'm
It
more.
was the vengeance
something
you
more.
found along the way.
There we go. Perfect.